Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Parth Sarthi, CEO of vijAI Robotics, and this is our new playlist on LangChain, where we're going to understand LangChain from the very basics to the advanced. We are going to build some end-to-end projects using LangChain. So if you're excited for this journey, subscribe to the channel and let's get started. Now, guys, before diving into using LangChain, writing some code, understanding the framework, first of all, we need to understand what is LangChain and why do we really need it. Now, LangChain is a framework for creating LLM-based applications. If you're not aware what are LLMs, you can check my video on that, right? It's there in the I button. Now, you may ask that for developing applications, why can we not use the API? Right, in our prompt engineering playlist, we had seen how we can even build a chatbot using the OpenAI API. Now, it's a genuine question to ask that why can we not simply build a LLM-based application just by using the API? Now, see, there are a lot of difficulties for that. Consider you are a business or I'm a business which wants to create a chatbot or an LLM application for handling customer email queries. Now, the most basic thing that this model would need, this application would need, is your own company's database, right? Your company's database. Because if you see the ChatGPT model does not know about your company, right? It's a simple foundational model. It's not aware about your company's internal data, right? So first of all, we need to interact with our database, which is actually not an easy task, right? And we would also need to manually handle API calls. That is also a big issue. Secondly, we would need to pass the output for keywords manually. The output that the model would generate, we would also need to understand that output, right? Write custom code to query your company's database based on the keywords and categories identified, which requires setting up database connections. Now, why do you need to identify keywords from your own model's output? Because then only you'll be able to categorically identify what part of the database is that you need, right? And then you would need to query your database. Okay. And then carefully manage the prompt structure to ensure the response is relevant, right? You would need to manually give in certain instructions that the prompt structure should be like this or that. And maybe you would have to manage it manually to a large extent. You may ask, how would LangChain help me in this process? So first of all, for understanding the email query, LangChain could provide you some pre-configured components such as agents, right, to understand the email query. We'll see what are agents and all of this stuff, right? So one advantage is that. Secondly, you'll be easily able to query your database with a simple interface where you once define your data sources and you're simply able to query from that database, right? Which would be very easy. Thirdly, LangChain has something called as templates. Prompt templates. Now, what this prompt template will do is it will allow you to easily create a blueprint for your prompts, right? Which you can reuse again and again to prompt the model, right? And we are also having tools to parse the output for keywords. So these are some of the functionalities which LangChain can offer, right, to develop LLM-based applications, right, which would have not been easy if we would have done it simply using the API, right? Now, it is very important to understand that LangChain is not a model. It's not a foundational model like ChatGPT or Gemini or Llama 3. It's a framework, right? It's a framework which is providing you some tools to develop an LLM-based application. It's not a foundational model. Please try to understand that, right? Because that's also a misconception in people, right? And here also I have written some ways LangChain will help you simplify your LLM application lifecycle. First of all, it will help you in development, right? Using LangChain's open source building blocks and components, right? You will be able to use the ChatGPT model in LangChain and many more models, right? It is having many third-party integrations. Secondly, it would help you in productionization, right? Using something called as LangSmith to inspect, monitor, and evaluate your chains. We'll understand what is this chains, right? And deployment. You'll be able to turn your chain into an API with LangServe, right? Basically, you're having three things: LangChain, LangServe, LangSmith. Okay, now let us try to understand the architecture of this LangChain framework, right? So this is the architecture which you can find also in the LangChain website, right? So first of all, we are having something called as observability, deployments, cognitive architecture, and integrations components, right? So what is observability? We are having LangSmith. What will LangSmith do? LangSmith would help you to monitor, annotate, evaluate your model, right, which has been deployed. And LangServe is for deploying your chains as REST APIs. Okay. And also we are having something called as templates, which are some predefined templates for common LLM-based applications, right? So there are some templates already made in LangChain, and we'll see how we can use it, right? Now, coming to the cognitive architecture, right, of which the templates is also a part of. Now, cognitive architecture refers to how you'll be able to uh, create the model, right? It will help you create the model. So what we are having is LangChain, which is offering us something called as chains, in which we'll be able to create a chain of prompts, right? Like a chain which may even be querying a database, right? And then again a prompt, something like that. Then we are having agents, retrieval strategies, right, to access our database. Then we are having something called as the LangChain community, which is providing us some integration components. What do I mean by integration components is that you are able to use models like ChatGPT, Anthropic, Llama inside LangChain, right? And you are also able to store your database as a vector. You are having some embedding models already there, right? We'll see what are embedding models, don't worry. And then we are having some agent tooling, right? Now, what we are having in LangChain core, we are having LangChain expression language. This LangChain expression language is not something like of a programming language which you need to learn, right? It is basically a declarative way of composing those chains, right? From which the word LangChain actually comes. Right, and we'll see all of these uh, various features you'll be able to see when we will use it. And one of the best things about LangChain is that we can use it in Python also and in JavaScript also. Right, though LangServe and these templates are available only in Python, right? So LangChain is for developing the model, LangServe is for deploying it, right, as a REST API. And LangSmith is for monitoring the model, basically debugging it. Okay, so guys, this is all for this video. Here we try to understand what is LangChain, why do we need it, and the architecture of LangChain. From the next video onwards, we'll be diving into the code, we'll be using LangChain, understanding it, right?